Someone asks you to describe yourself. You know how to do this. You've done it hundreds of times. You have a list, not written down, but rehearsed. The job, the city, the things you care about, the kind of person you are. Loyal, curious, someone who needs space, someone who takes things seriously. The words come easily. They feel true. They feel like you. But here's a question you probably haven't sat with long enough. Where did those words come from? Not who told them to you, though someone did. Not when you first heard them, though there was a first time. The deeper question: how do you know they're accurate? What are you comparing them to? You have never observed yourself from the outside. Every piece of information you have about who you are came from the inside of the experience of being you, which means it came through the same system you're trying to evaluate. The judge and the evidence are the same thing. You have never actually met yourself. And the description you carry might be less a portrait and more a rumor, passed down from an earlier version of you, assembled from other people's reactions, and updated just rarely enough to feel stable. If that possibility is uncomfortable, good. That's what these questions are for. Subscribe to Otherwise Human. There's a new one every week. In the 18th century, the philosopher David Hume tried to find the self. He looked inward, carefully, deliberately, the way a scientist examines a specimen. And what he found was not a unified self, not a continuous, stable I. What he found was a stream of perceptions, thoughts, feelings, sensations, each arising and passing, none of them permanent, none of them the thing that was doing the looking. He wrote that when he entered most intimately into what he called himself, he always stumbled on some particular perception or other. He never caught himself at any time without a perception. He could never observe anything but the perception. The self, Hume concluded, is not a thing. It is a bundle of experiences, held together by memory and habit, and the mind's tendency to impose narrative on sequence. You are not a noun. You are a verb that thinks it's a noun. This matters because of what happens when the bundle is disrupted. You know the person you were at 15. You probably don't recognize them entirely. Their fears, their certainties, their embarrassing confidence in things that turned out to be wrong. They wore the same face. They carried the same name. But you look back at them with the mild distance you might apply to someone you once knew. At what point did you stop being them? There is no clean answer. The cells replaced themselves. The memories rewrote. The values shifted. Slowly, then suddenly. The things that felt like identity became the things that felt like history. And the person you are now, how long before they become someone you look back at with the same mild distance? The philosopher Derek Parfit spent his career on this question. He argued that personal identity over time is not the deep, metaphysical fact we assume it is. What connects you to your past self is not some essential, continuous soul. It is a chain of psychological connections, memories, intentions, beliefs that overlap and fade in both directions. You are not the same person who was born with your name. You are a descendant of that person, connected by degrees, with no clear line where one ended and another began, which means the self you're describing, loyal, curious, someone who needs space, is not a discovery. It is a construction, maintained by repetition, solidified by the people who reflect it back to you, disrupted, quietly, every time you change and forget to update the story. Here's where it becomes more than philosophy. The self-description you carry does real work in the world. It determines what opportunities you reach for and which ones you assume aren't for you. It shapes how you respond when someone treats you in a way that doesn't match the story. It governs the relationships you stay in and the ones you leave. It is, in a very practical sense, the operating system. And operating systems can be outdated. The person who decided they were not an artist, not a leader, not someone who could be loved easily, made that determination at a specific moment, under specific conditions, with specific evidence. The determination may have been accurate then. It is almost certainly not a permanent truth. But once the label is in the bundle, it tends to stay. The mind is conservative about identity. It filters experience through the existing description. It selects the evidence that confirms and quietly discards what doesn't fit. You are not discovering who you are. You are defending a story about who you were. The objection most people raise here is understandable. If the self is just a construction, just a story, does that mean it doesn't matter? Does it mean I can just decide to be someone else? No. And this is important. A construction is not an illusion. A bridge is a construction. It is still real, still load-bearing, still capable of holding enormous weight. The self you have built is real. It has consequences. It has history. It cannot be discarded by simply deciding to. But it can be examined. And examined things can be updated. The difference between someone who examines their self-description and someone who doesn't is not that one is more free. It is that one has a better chance of noticing when the story has stopped serving them, and when the evidence has started pointing somewhere new. There is a second objection, quieter and more unsettling. If I've never directly met myself, if everything I know about who I am is mediated, constructed, assembled from the outside in, then what is doing the looking? Something is reading these words right now. Something noticed the discomfort earlier. Something is, at this moment, trying to evaluate whether this applies to it. That something, the awareness behind the description, is the part Hume couldn't catch, the part that is always looking but never the object of the look. You cannot describe it. The moment you try, you've made it an object, and the thing doing the looking has moved. Maybe that's the self, not the bundle, not the description, the looking itself. If that's true, then the person you've never met is not hiding. They are the one who's been reading all along. So the next time someone asks you to describe yourself, answer them. Use the words you have. They're not useless. But notice, afterward, the slight gap between the words and the thing that produced them. The slight delay. The sense that the description is accurate but approximate. That it fits but doesn't quite close. That gap is not a problem. It might be the most honest thing about you. If that question stayed with you, share this with someone whose self-description you've always suspected was incomplete. And subscribe to Otherwise Human. New episode every Saturday. The person you know least in the world is the one you've spent the most time with.